Hello everybody, welcome. This is Nathan on Shuffle, and this is my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's August 19th, 2022. This is the show where I talk about the week in prog news. I give you the top 5 prog news headlines, give you guys 5 singles to enjoy, and then talk a bit about what's coming up on the channel and what I've been doing here. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd appreciate a subscribe. It really helps the channel and builds it up. I think we're building quite a cool prog community here, so I'd really appreciate that, and give my video a like if you like this content. And so without further ado, let's lead into the news items. A little bit of a light prog news week, I felt, but I mined some interesting things that I hope will be fun to discuss. First, I always like to start with Prog News Headline 1, some of the new releases that came out today. First, there's an album called 6x6, self-titled album by the group 6x6, a new 3-piece featuring guitarist Ian Crichton, a founding member of Saga, along with drummer Nigel Glockler from Saxon, and bassist and vocalist Robert Barry, best known for his stint in the late 80s band 3 with Keith Emerson and Carl Palmer. So a really cool group of musicians there doing some really fun progressive rock music that you should check out if you have a chance. Of course, that's released on Inside Out, and so a lot of cool stuff and a lot of fun to be had there. Another new notable release today is Motorpsycho's new album, Ancient Astronauts. They're a band from Norway who do maybe a more psychedelic, stoner type rock music, but really complex and really some interesting epics and really long extended pieces. Really a unique and cool band. They release a new album seemingly almost every year, so this is their latest one. So hearing some good buzz about it right off the bat, so it should be a really solid release to go check out. So those are 2 new releases that I would recommend to go check out for the prog fans out there. Prog News Headline number 2. This is the latest news from Big Big Train, which I've talked a lot about Big Big Train. Last week I gave quite a big update about them as well. They always have a lot of news coming out, and so tends to be a focus here on the channel since they're one of my favorite groups. But the first part of the news is that I talked about it briefly last week, but there was an announcement from HRH Prog Festival that they're postponing their September 2022 festival into April. And unfortunately, Big Big Train is not able to make the rescheduled event, and also have had to cancel a lot of the dates, their scheduled shows in Germany, Switzerland, and France that were going to be around this festival. It's just not financially viable for them, so they're rescheduling their dates as well into 2023. So it seems like 2023 is going to be a pretty busy year for the band. They're going to be playing a lot of live shows. They're expecting currently to play up to 20 shows across the UK and continental Europe in autumn of next year, including countries that were not on their original tour schedule for this year. So it should be a lot of fun to experience the band if you're in the areas that they're playing in. But also in tandem with that, they released a new single that they're first to feature their new singer, Alberto Bravin, who comes on to replace David Lungden after his unfortunate passing. So it was really interesting to hear what the band would sound like with a new lead singer. And I know it's a emotional thing for a lot of people who had such connections with David Lungden and associate the band so much with his voice and his contributions musically to the band. But I find the new track to be a really solid one. It's called Last 11. It's going to be one of the top 5 prog singles of the week. Check it out in the description. There's a link to it. Really wonderful song. That's a great collaboration from the band. Really cool, and I'm excited to hear them, to hear it live, perhaps. Of course, most likely none of the dates will be near me to be able to see them live, but, there'll probably be some form of a live video that I can watch that will show them performing the track. So, really cool track that I thought was worth sharing, and I hope you guys listen and enjoy it as well. Very, very nice progress from the band, and I'm excited for what's to come. I'm not sure when a full album will be coming out. I don't think that's really in the plans quite yet, but it's a good indication of where they're headed with their sound. News item number 3, I saw symphonic rock legends Renaissance launched an Indiegogo campaign for a Legacy Tour double live CD in celebration of Annie Haslam's 75th birthday. So I definitely recommend checking that out, their Indiegogo, if you want to support them. Of course, Renaissance is one of the legendary classic bands from the 70s. They had a lot of great classic albums in that, early to mid 70s period. Really fantastic with incredible female lead vocals from Annie Haslam. They're a band that I've gotten into more lately. Wasn't really one that I discovered when I was originally getting into prog. It's not one my dad was very familiar with, who shared with me the early prog music. But this sounds really cool. Renaissance, it sounds like they're performing a bunch of concerts with the Renaissance Chamber Orchestra, a 10-piece group of classical performers that's been adding an extra dimension to their sound since 2017. So, there's some definite tour dates to go check out, and it seems like they're going to record one of these for this double live CD record and get hopefully some support from fans to be able to produce it and to get it out there. So it sounds like some really cool developments from the band. Cool that they're still going forward and performing live after all this time, and Annie Haslam is still great and a great performer. So really cool stuff. Definitely wanted to point that one out. Prog News headline number 4, Caligula's Horse guitarist Sam Vallen announces a debut solo single coming out September 8th. Caligula's Horse is a really cool modern alternative progressive group from Australia, so I'm a fan of theirs and of their sound, so it's cool that their guitarist is striking out on his own slightly for a debut single. It should be a really fun piece. It's an instrumental, it seems, and there's going to be a new video accompanied with it. I'm sure it'll be one of my top 5 prog singles when it comes out. He says the writing and production of Flicker, which is the name of the track, felt both challenging and familiar. It embodies a melding of my lifelong influences and a snapshot of my creative palette at this moment in time. Couldn't be happier with how it came together. Features Caligula's Horse drummer Josh Griffin, and Vallen handles all the other instruments as well as the production. So should be a cool single to check out from Sam Vallen. Item number 5, Japan is releasing half-speed vinyl remaster of double collection Exorcising Ghosts. This is art rockers from the 80s. This is a 1984 compilation that they released called Exorcising Ghosts, and it's being reissued through UMC on October 7th. The band officially split in 1982 following a tour in support of their final album. So this was more of a re-release compilation album to celebrate the band, featuring material from their third album, 1979's Quiet Life, which saw them shift stylistically away from the glam rock of their first 2 albums into their more recognized stylish art rock approach. So it seems like it should be a cool release for fans of Japan. It's a band I'm not as familiar with, but I thought this was interesting to point out because I'm always interested in what's coming out in the world of vinyl and collections and things. So I wanted to mention it here if you're interested in the band Japan and this compilation disc, Exorcising Ghosts, somewhat of a classic coming out on vinyl. So should be a really good one. So that's the news headlines for this week. So the singles that we've got for you in the description, if you're interested, like I mentioned, Big Train's new track, Last 11. There's a new cool video from an artist called Dika G. The song is called The Blink of an Eye, a Russian-based musician who has this really haunting, ethereal, atmospheric type sound. So that should be a really cool one. There's a track from Zio called Close. Zio is a UK-based prog band, symphonic prog, really cool classic style that I've really come to love. I put a track also from Coheed and Cambria called The Disappearing Act, maybe a bit more poppy, a little bit of that disco flavor from their latest album, Vaxis 2, Window of the Waking Mind. But it's a fun one, and I thought it was a fun video to showcase. And then finally, Polymath and their track Zenith, Velcut. This is a instrumental track, really interesting, intricate sounds to it. Some battle between saxophone and guitar is how they describe it, that goes off into a little bit more improvisation and slow building cacophony. So some really interesting, cool tracks there to check out if you're interested in that sort of thing. As for the channel itself and what's been going on here, this week I did a vinyl haul video where I talked about the latest vinyl records that I've gotten over the past several months, so that was a lot of fun to go through. It's almost becomes a retrospective of a lot of the albums that I've covered on the channel, a lot of things that I've reviewed and talked about, so Please check that out if you're interested in the vinyl haul aspect. This upcoming week, we're starting a new series. This is actually something my wife Jana developed and is excited about, that we're calling Top 5, where every week I'm going to have a different topic and do a list of my top 5 related to that topic, and hopefully spark some discussion and things in the comments. They're going to be shorter videos, just weekly videos, just to discuss an interesting topic, something that I can put out quickly and that can hopefully spark a lot of interest and debate from you guys out there. So that should be fun. You know, I'm still developing it. I'm still working through it. So we'll see how it actually comes across when it comes out. But I think it's going to be a fun thing for everybody. We're going to do another classic albums episode soon. Should be out next week, I believe, where me and Jana talk about The Police's Synchronicity. So that's a cool series where we talk about albums that aren't related to prog, but are just classic albums that we like to listen to and discuss. New albums for Jana, sometimes new albums for me as well, and it's just a fun way to expand our musical knowledge, and so that's been a fun series. I'm hoping to get into some more new music reviews. I feel bad that I haven't had a lot of those recently. It's just been a busy couple months, and I just haven't gotten to it, but I have a long list of albums to cover in my next New Music Shuffle show, which should happen probably not this upcoming week, but the week afterwards. So, and I am also planning to cover the new John Mitchell album, which comes next week. So that should be a review coming out in a week or so. So there's some good stuff coming on the new music front, and should just be a fun time for prog music fans. So thank you guys so much for being part of the channel here. For those of you who are subscribers and who watch this channel regularly, I really appreciate the support, and thank you guys for bearing with me, and as I get more comfortable and develop my style. It's really great to have such a strong following of really supportive, positive people. That's what I was looking for all along. So thank you guys, and as always, keep enjoying the music, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys. Bye.